Poi ovviamente il numero 108, quello di Romain-Sicard, che è già stato iridato tra gli under 23 qualche anno fa.
Ciao! Posto? Bene? Come va? Guarda che ti voglio.
Com'è?
Trois générations, tu vois?
Gira con la tua foto, sì, posso farti la foto insieme a lui? Vieni, girati Luca.
Ouais, ça va.
Fai morire dai, carica le foto.
E Robert! Vanno a fare il foglio film.
Le vogliamo se le
E vuoi fare la fine con Bob Jung? Dai. Dai con Bob Jung, dai. Ale Bob, bambino.
Was dramatisch. Dit de volgende. Hier.
L'ho visto bene a Milano-Torino.
Sì, non c'ero.
No, non è che era tirato in fuga.
Allora, Trevali Varesini.
Trevali Varesini allora.
Sì.
Bravissimo.
Dai, speriamo oggi.
Provaci.
È sempre posto, te la prenda via.
Oh Conti, allora.
Oh, bello. Ciao, piccolina. Bene, bene.
L'ho trovato. Posto.
entrati in forma dopo.
Importante alla Milano Torino, grande condizione di forma.
Sì, diciamo che sto bene, una bella squadra e oggi è una bella giornata per me, vediamo.
Obiettivo?
Oggettivo non lo so, arrivare davanti, vediamo dove.
Vedremo fin dove arriverà Rigoberto Ciccio Urana.
Attaccalo bene, non fare il pezzente. All'arrivo, lo voglio vedere all'arrivo. Dai. Davide, parla in Madonna. Spostati. Vieni qua competitivo, vieni qua, dai. Ecco, l'ultima nostra gara insieme. E dopo dove lo mandi? Dai.
Ma non vuoi farla con noi?
Als jong Italiaans talent. En jij ook. Een beetje jong. Het is benoemd. Het is benoemd.
Se la fanno passare la deriva più e più.
Fabio! Fabio non fare un autografo. Bravo Fabio!
We welcome Daniel Cataldo and the rest of the Ascama team as they put their signatures onto the plexiglass, ready for this race start. Ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce them all to you. Andre Zeitz, Luis Leon Sanchez, Andre Grifko, Jakob Fuglsang, Sergej Jemensky, Dario Cataldo, Pelo Bilbao and Fabio Aru. We give you a Ascama Pro team.
confermazione della firma l'ultimo punto di Sorella aveva
Hello Bilbao and Fabio Ali, we give you a Sana Pro Team. Team Sunweb. Our ultimate team, please welcome Orica Scott. All the best to Orica Scott. Welcome the final team to Lombardia as we get them to make their way up here onto the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please now welcome.
Compatriotes au départ, c'était ce matin.
Nibali.
Parte da Bergamo e arriva a Como. Colle Gallo, Colle Brianza, Ghisallo, Muro di Sormano, Civiglio, San Fermo della Battaglia. Questi erano partiti da Piazza Cavour. Quest'anno invece i corridori arriveranno in volata sul lungolago di Como. E proprio l'ultima parte del percorso, gli ultimi chilometri comaschi, saranno quelli decisivi.
Et comme on l'avait dit, comme on le sait souvent, c'est important pour les équipes italiennes.
Che passano adesso un attimo.
Sì.
Ja, zijn er.
Ah ja.
Ja, het gaat rapper, hé.
La borra quella dell'Android la fa. Guarda, troppo compatto. Chiatoschi mi stava passano sopra, ragazzi. C'era Chiatoschi che mi stava andando addosso. Ti conosce ormai.
Ragazzi, su!
Ja, daar zitten.
Dai, dai! Oh, 5 minuti Davide, dai, dai!
Dai. Die doet dat.
Aan elkaar vastgereden, kijk. Kijk, nu moet jij door.
Dans le début de la course. Et puis l'équipe Lotto qui a roulé, on a vu Max Montfort faire un bon boulot.
Vincenzo! Vai Vincenzo! Vai Vincenzo!
À l'hôpital pour des examens complémentaires. Les cloches de Madonna del Ghisallo qui sonnent au passage des...
Dai! Vai Michael, Lando! Vai Jacob!
Dai. Et ils ont distancé, ils se sont débarrassés à la régulière de Roglic.
Ouais. Ouais, on se trouve dans cette première partie de Sormano où on a l'impression que c'est rien du tout, mais quand même 5 km de montée à 6% de moyenne, c'est pas rien du tout. Hein.
Je confirme, il y a bien deux coureurs. Hein. Polanc est là pour la formation Emirates ainsi
et Roglic qui est à l'avant de ce groupe-là.
Van Rensburg dans ce groupe. 6-5, ça veut dire qu'il reste sans doute à la Philippe Brambilla, Gilbert, Dan Martin, et on rappelle aussi que Bob Jungels a un maillot distinctif.
Ouais. Non, mais je pense qu'ils vont vraiment faire la course pour la Philippe aujourd'hui. Hein. C'est le coureur qui est capable de suivre les meilleurs. Maintenant, si Philippe peut survivre, si ce mur de Sormano, il n'y a pas de grosse accélération, ben, il peut survivre. Après, il devient un des candidats à la victoire. Hein.
Attention, on est parti dans un trophée Baraki avec Valerio Conti et Jan Polanka. Ah, ils ont distancé même un garçon comme Roglic. Hein. Ils sont partis comme des facteurs. C'est étonnant qu'un Anaconda ne se soit pas glissé. Il était tout au fond, me direz-vous. Et là, il y a ceux qui ont déjà beaucoup travaillé. Hein.
Oui, ce sont les rescapés de l'échappée matinale. Donc c'est un peu normal aussi qu'ils ont du mal à pouvoir suivre cette accélération. Hein. C'était pas une attaque d'ailleurs, hein, c'était vraiment une accélération.
Mais il y avait Anaconda et Roglic qui eux s'étaient intercalés dans la poursuite tout à l'heure. 56 km encore. 3 hommes en tête. Le tournier pour la formation Cofidis, jeune français.
Dit is de bal. Ik zou aan tafel zitten. Gilbert is dat hier. Gilbert was dat. Die gaan uit elkaar. Hey, Stefan Marke. Wat is?
È importante che si sia mosso anche un uomo come Philippe Gilbert, lui che già lo ha vinto il Giro di Lombardia, tra l'altro con la doppietta proprio di Philippe Gilbert.
Allora, per ricapitolare, questa è la situazione con i 3 battistrada, Cherel, Le Tournier e De Plus, poi abbiamo gli 8 contrattaccanti che hanno, scusate,
Ik heb dat nog 2 keer geholpen.
Si tratta di Rota, di Roglic, di Polanz, di Anacona e di Conti, quindi Polanz e Conti entrambi della UAE Emirates, ed è soprattutto Roglic il più determinato. Poi ci sono i tre che facevano parte di questo gruppo e sono esattamente Ballerini, Van Rensburg e Hofstede. Alle loro spalle sono in 6, esattamente a 1 minuto e 08 in questo momento, sono Frank, De Marchi, Jandes Boss, Gilbert, Battaglin e Rosa. Questa è la testa del gruppo, condotta sempre dalla Bahrain Merida, in questo momento con Enrico Gasparotto. Il loro ritardo del gruppo principale, quindi del gruppo dove Vincenzo Nibali e Rigoberto Urán, due principali favoriti, fanno parte, questo grosso del gruppo principale, è circa di 2 minuti, appunto il ritardo del gruppo, che in questo momento ha recuperato qualcosa, 1:30 circa, mentre davanti c'è una certa diatriba, soprattutto tra Cherel e De Plus. Perché? De Plus è stato informato che nelle retrovie è uscito Philippe Gilbert e quindi sta lavorando naturalmente con un filino di gas rispetto al grande lavoro che ha fatto fino a questo momento.
E abbiamo visto abbastanza chiara e semplice la gestualità di Cherel, ha fatto proprio segno a De Plus, allora o dai una mano o se no basta, io mi fermo qua. Ed è vero che deve per forza Cherel parlare con De Plus, perché Le Tournier è in fuga dalla prima ora, dunque anche per quanto riguarda le energie credo che non abbia la possibilità di aiutare molto e di contribuire molto, no, all'esito di questo attacco. Però è altrettanto vero che De Plus ora, soprattutto dietro a Gilbert,
in questa fase sarà più che mai importante anche dal punto di vista tattico poter conoscere bene cosa accade nelle retrovie per poi muoversi con una certa attenzione. De Plus lo sta facendo. Il blocco della Quick Step Floors, De Plus che è uscito ormai sul Ghisallo, Gilbert che ha attaccato non appena è iniziata la salita verso la colma di Sormano. Non dimentichiamo che c'è anche Daniel Martin in questa formazione e un certo Julien Alaphilippe che ha notevolmente impressionato sia al campionato del mondo di Bergen sia 48 ore fa alla Milano-Torino.
E torniamo adesso da Andrea De Luca che è proprio sul gruppetto di Gilbert. Andrea.
Gruppetto di Gilbert, sarebbe meglio chiamarlo gruppetto di De Marchi e Rosa, perché sono proprio i due italiani che hanno rilanciato l'azione e adesso hanno impresso un gran bel forcing che si fa sentire a fatica. Jean Desbo, il corridore della Direct Energy che fa parte di questo gruppo, ha chiuso. C'è Enrico Battaglina anche in questo gruppo e c'è Frank della G2R, la mondiale. Adesso è Gilbert che si alza sui pedali e scatta. Il gruppo comunque non è lontano, hanno un vantaggio di una decina di secondi, non di più. A voi la linea.
E siamo arrivati intanto a Sormano con la testa della corsa, questa che era la terra di origine, primo feudo della famiglia Sormani che poi si trasferì a Milano tra i due rami del Lago di Como nel cosiddetto triangolo lariano. Siamo tornati con le immagini adesso sulla testa della corsa, sui tre uomini che sono al comando. Cherel, prima posizione della HDR, poi per la Cofidis Mathias Le Tournier, questi due sono due francesi, e poi la belga Laurens De Plus della Quick Step Floors.
Circa 1 chilometro per arrivare al bivio e poi iniziare e vedere dal vivo queste dure rampe che portano al Gran Premio della Montagna con il Muro di Sormano. Questa salita che è entrata nella storia, 1900 metri con una pendenza media del 17% e con punte che arrivano al 27-28%, quindi l'occasione e la possibilità di vedere dal vivo le difficoltà che incontreranno naturalmente i corridori per raggiungere il Gran Premio della Montagna, posto ai 1124 metri di altitudine.
Ci siamo quasi, Marco Saligari al Muro di Sormano, a te.
Siamo a 800 metri esatti in questo punto all'inizio del muro e Cherel l'ha avuta difficile a convincere De Plus, ma un De Plus che adesso da un paio di chilometri tira in maniera decisa, anche perché è vero che è uscito il suo compagno nelle retrovie, ma farebbe bene De Plus a prendere qualche metro di vantaggio, anche perché allora sì diventerebbe utile per il suo compagno di squadra. Vi comunico che i più immediati inseguitori, poco fa erano 5, sono cronometrati a 25 secondi dal terzetto di testa. Passo.
E intanto vediamo come il gruppetto dei contrattaccanti, quello che ci diceva Andrea De Luca bisognerebbe chiamare come il gruppetto di De Marchi e Rosa, che infatti sono adesso in seconda e prima posizione, gruppetto che comprende fra gli altri anche Philippe Gilbert, stia per essere ripreso, arrivando all'imbocco del Muro di Sormano, stia per essere ripreso dalla prima parte del gruppo, quella dove ci sono ancora tutti i grandi favoriti per la vittoria oggi del Giro di Lombardia edizione numero 111. Stiamo arrivando al Muro di Sormano. Fu l'ingegnere Giuseppe Testori, industriale tessile, sindaco di Sormano, a far conoscere questa salita a Vincenzo Torriani, uno dei grandi innovatori del ciclismo, del nostro ciclismo torriani, che inserì appunto il Muro di Sormano dalla 60 alla 62 nel percorso del Giro di Lombardia.
Ed è proprio per onorare la memoria di Vincenzo Torriani che al termine di questa edizione numero 111 del Giro della Lombardia, proprio qui a Como, ci saranno le premiazioni, esattamente allo Yacht Club di Como, del 20° premio internazionale dedicato a Vincenzo Torriani. Premio internazionale che per questa stagione verrà consegnato ad Elia Viviani, tra gli atleti, un campione che ha dato forza e sprint al nostro ciclismo e alla pista con il suo straordinario oro conquistato alle Olimpiadi di Rio de Janeiro, a Francesco Guidolin, allenatore di calcio ma nella vita sempre in sella e con la bici nel cuore, e al giornalista nonché cantore del ciclismo Marco Pastonesi, giornalista, scrittore, indomito pedalatore, cantore appassionato delle gesta eroiche del ciclismo. Quindi appuntamento dopo il Giro di Lombardia per la consegna della 20ª edizione del Gran Premio intitolato a Vincenzo Torriani.
Anche Fabio Aru, il campione nazionale italiano, eccolo là nelle primissime posizioni del gruppo, che nel frattempo ha riassorbito il protoncino dei contrattaccanti, quello con De Marchi, che infatti abbiamo visto là rimanere comunque anche lui nelle prime posizioni del gruppo. Tante maglie della Bahrain Merida con Giovanni Visconti, che adesso sta scortando il capitano unico quest'oggi della formazione del Golfo, vale a dire Vincenzo Nibali, ed è cominciata la strada del Muro di Sormano per i 3 uomini al comando, con Cherel che ha preso un leggero margine di vantaggio nei confronti di Le Tournier e di De Plus, 1920 metri. Tanto misura il Muro di Sormano, che presenta un dislivello che permette di superare un dislivello di 304 metri, pendenza media del 15,8%, ma si raggiungono punte massime di pendenza del 27% addirittura.
Michael Cherel, che già aveva impressionato 48 ore fa alla Milano-Torino nel gioco di squadra della GDR mondiale, è stato uno dei più attivi, sta evidenziando anche oggi una notevole condizione, una gamba veramente interessante sia sulla Madonna del Ghisallo, dove si è tolto la soddisfazione di transitare per primo, sia ora non appena iniziano le dure rampe che portano alla colma di Sormano. Con questo muro ha staccato immediatamente sia Le Tournier sia De Plus, e lo vedete lì con un 150 metri di vantaggio davanti a tutti.
Bellissima, una delle strade dedicate e intitolate nel vero senso della parola al ciclismo, questa strada del Muro di Sormano. Sull'asfalto anche alcune scritte di alcuni dei grandi protagonisti del ciclismo antico. Abbiamo visto per esempio una frase sull'asfalto di Gino Bartali, un passista, diceva Bartali: non ha alternativa, deve arrivare al muro almeno con 10 minuti, perché così, se lo fa a piedi impiegando un quarto d'ora in più di quelli che lo fanno in bici, arriverà in cima con 5-6 minuti di ritardo e potrà ancora sperare, perché il Muro di Sormano, pensa un po' soprattutto Silvio quando è stato fatto per esempio nel 60 la prima volta alla Lombardia, è anche questo.
È anche questo, certamente, è un ciclismo diverso rispetto a quello eroico di Gino Bartali, e che lo ha portato a fare questa considerazione nei confronti del Muro di Sormano. È un Muro di Sormano che comunque oggi sarà il primo vero spartiacque, una discreta selezione c'è stata già sulla Madonna del Ghisallo, ma tutti i grandi pretendenti al successo fanno parte del gruppo principale. Li vedete nelle prime posizioni con Giovanni Visconti, che dopo il lavoro che ha fatto Enrico Gasparotto nella prima parte fino al bivio, è lui ora che si sta impegnando con Vincenzo Nibali sulla ruota, ma tutti gli altri pretendenti sono proprio sulla ruota di Vincenzo Nibali. Qui un dettaglio di questo tornante dove sono appaiati proprio il nostro Vincenzo Nibali e il campione nazionale Fabio Aru.
Già la strada è stretta.
3 uomini al comando, Cherel, Le Tournier, De Plus, a 30 secondi 4 corridori, Anacona, Roglic, Conti e Polanc, il gruppo dei migliori condotto dai compagni di Vincenzo Nibali, dai corridori della Bahrain.
Dei tifosi, però avete visto Nibali che è stato costretto ad allontanare quel tifoso proprio per avere una visuale più ampia e più, diciamo così, libera della strada su questa salita che presenta 4 tornanti. Clima, emozioni, sensazioni, le ascoltiamo da Marco Salligari che sta seguendo i battistrada. Marco.
Siamo sul tratto difficile del Muro che è tutto difficile a dire il vero. Scherel ha fatto il vuoto, era il corridore più brillante, praticamente fin dalle prime rampe ha azionato il 38/32, sono quasi rapporti da mountain bike, i rapporti che useranno i corridori sul Muro. E attenzione perché via via ci si avvicina al Gran Premio della Montagna, c'è sempre più gente, quindi dovranno fare attenzione anche i corridori e tutte le moto e le macchine al seguito anche a questo aspetto. Però il Muro è sempre un fascino incredibile. Passo.
È stato reinserito nel 2012 dopo 50 anni in pratica nel percorso del Giro di Lombardia, il Muro di Sormano. Il record 9 minuti e 24 secondi fu stabilito nel 1962 proprio da Ercole Baldini e poi 9 minuti e 2 secondi invece con Purito Rodriguez nel 2012. Andiamo da Andrea De Luca. Andrea.
Ho anticipato il gruppo perché sarebbe impossibile effettuare il Muro di Sormano dietro il gruppo, tantissima gente, gli ultimi 300 metri, 2 ali di folla, ma veramente le vedrete con le immagini, una qualcosa di straordinario, e stiamo aspettando sul Gran Premio della Montagna simbolico proprio l'arrivo dei corridori. E tra l'altro vediamo che ci sono i tifosi di Nibali che sono giunti dalla Toscana, i famosi cannibali qua con le loro bandiere azzurre ad aspettare e incitare Vincenzo Nibali che è il grande favorito di quest'oggi. Quindi grande spettacolo sul Muro di Sormano, si conferma ancora una volta. A voi la linea.
E proprio mentre ci parlavi di Nibali e dei suoi tifosi abbiamo visto anche in grafica i live data relativi proprio allo squalo di Messina, Vincenzo Nibali. Qui invece siamo con i più immediati inseguitori degli uomini al comando, con Roglic che si mantiene sulla cui ruota si mantiene Valerio Conti, mentre sta perdendo contatto Polanc, ma il gruppo non è lontano. Intanto gran lavoro lo sta facendo Giovanni Visconti.
Евроспорт будет показывать французскую однодневку, но все же, исходя из велоиерархии, именно и Ломбардия является монументом, одним из 5, помимо Милан-Сан-Ремо, Париж-Roubaix. Именно и Ломбардия является таковой, чрезвычайно престижной однодневкой, и именно она, единственная среди этих ранее упомянутых 5 монументов, вынесена в самую концовку сезона. И если для кого-то сезон не завершился большой петлей, Уэльта или чемпионата мира, то я думаю, что абсолютное большинство, опять-таки, несмотря на Париж-тур завтрашний, несмотря на тур Турции, который пройдет на телеканале Евроспорт на следующей неделе каждый день по новому этапу турецкой многодневки, все равно сегодняшняя гонка действительно в головах многих болельщиков и для многих больших гонщиков действительно станет в сезоне последней. Микаэль Шерель сейчас лидер гонки за 50 километров до финиша. прямом эфире в Ломбардию, мы сразу же смотрим гонку непосредственно в прямом эфире, потому что, сами знаете, зачастую спланирована таким образом трансляция, что мы смотрим то, как гонщики приветствовали болельщиков в стартовом городке в Бергамо, в частности, раздавали автографы традиционные, нулевой километр, выстрел. Все это действительно очень и очень красиво. Это все часть велоспорта, традиции, которые нерушимы, и мы все этому, безусловно, чрезвычайно рады. Но сегодняшняя гонка складывается таким образом, что график явно опережает, и вот исходя из предполагаемых тайм-кодов, я смотрю, что сейчас за 50 километров до финиша, вот соответственно...
Eccolo lì in testa, il 14 c'ha ragione. Nibali.
Ma che cielo!
Нибали в итоге поднимется на верхнюю ступень пьедестала. Менее 50 километров до финиша, 49,5. И смотрим мы сейчас, как пелотон проходит. Алексис Вильермо. Ой-ой-ой, занесло здесь представителя Sky. Кто же это был? Джанни Маскон, по-моему, находящийся в сумасшедшей форме. Это его соотечественник Диего Росса.
finita! Dai che è finita! Dai! Vai, 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 vai! Vai, 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 vai! È finita, dai! Dai! È finita! È finita!
Ответил, вообще никакой реакции, гримасы даже не появилось после этого случая. На самом деле тоже говорит о многом. Сфокусирован Нибали, действительно сфокусирован. У него был непростой сезон, и ему действительно очень важно закончить его на мажорной ноте. Ну, тем более для любого итальянца, каким бы у тебя сезон ни был, блестящим или отвратительным, все равно, когда есть определенное понимание того, что ты можешь выиграть не просто монумент, не просто уйти на паузу достаточно продолжительную, да, вплоть до следующего сезона, ну, не берем до следующего года календарного, не берем сборы, но тем не менее уйти с победой дома в Италии, это, конечно, чрезвычайно важно. И Винченцо Нибали вот только-только в конце сентября, в начале октября стал вторым на Giro dell'Emilia. Проиграл он Джованни Висконти, опередил, соответственно, Ригоберто Урана, поэтому неспроста именно...
Dai! È finita, vai! Dai che è finita!
Моско, на самом деле, итальянец из команды Sky. Вроде бы у него пока нет такого имени, и при наличии Кветковский, Серхио Иона, может быть, и не удастся ему капитанить. Но концовка сезона... Возвращаемся мы в прямой эфир заключительного пятого монумента в сезоне Ломбардия. Прекрасная однодневка, которой приходится ждать весь сезон. Вот так вот UCI, да не только UCI, это, знаете, традиционная Ломбардия всегда проходила именно в это время. И даже название гонки The Race of the Fallen Leaves переводится «Гонка опавших листьев». Безусловно, гонка осенняя, гонка октябрьская. И, между прочим, прямо сейчас мы наблюдаем с вами в прямом эфире 111-ю версию. С вами комментатор Кирилл Брейда. Помогает мне в трансляции звукорежиссер Павел Минин. И вы только вздумайтесь. 111-я версия. Это и в ней, если позволите, с исторической точки зрения более ценной гонки, наверное, в мире велоспорта назвать можно только Париж-Roubaix, потому что этой весной прошла 115-я версия Северного Ада, а 111-я версия позволяет Ломбардии занимать вторую строчку. Ну, уже завтра, кстати говоря, Париж-тур сравняется, ведь завтра Париж-тур, итальянская однодневка, прошу прощения, французская, она также в прямом эфире будет показана на телеканале Евроспорт. Ни в коем случае не забудьте включить, потому что совсем скоро велоспорт погрузится в зимнюю спячку, и все мы будем скучать, так что давайте не упускать последние возможности.
Vai, vai! Ale! Dai che è finita! Finita! Via, via! Formolo! È formolo!
В боевых условиях. Ну а пока накануне Париж-тура именно Ломбардия здесь на втором месте среди наиболее древних, что ли, гонок. Шереля здесь слегка занесло на спуске. Ну, не сказать, что он чрезвычайно крутой даунхиллер, если позволите, это скорее относится к тому же Винченцо Нибали, хотя последние годы быть...
Дай!
больше не сделали из него героя, просто потому что нужен был какой-то герой, и в этой дисциплине в том числе. Но нет, вы знаете, Vincenzo Nibali действительно с технической точки зрения чрезвычайно хорош, и есть в нем какое-то полное отсутствие страха, которое действительно позволяет нестись и делать, создавать определенное преимущество. В этом, конечно, преимущество Vincenzo Nibali. Сегодня лидер команды Бахрейн Мерида, мы уже говорили, что Vincenzo, человеку, который на Эмилии занял 2-е место, уступив Висконти, на Тревалле и Варезине занял 3-е место, уступив на финише Женьезу и Пино. Хотя выиграл спринт у Диего Улиси, что тоже в какой-то степени удивительно. Ему, конечно же, тяжело будет выигрывать из группы даже в 3 человека, из парного отъезда в 2 человека. Ему будет тяжело, ему нужно что-то сольное. В принципе, маршрут Ломбардии очень мощный. Ух, какое прохождение, а вот видите, кто-то кого-то вынесло. Но главное тут все-таки с тормозами-то дружить. Барьеры-то есть оградительные, но, вы знаете, можно в них врезаться и перелететь. Случалось и такое. Помню, как и Фрэнк Шлек вылетал, да и многие-многие другие. Шерель продолжает лидировать. 22 секунды у него преимущество над D+, а пелотон уже в 46 секундах. И, как мы успели заметить перед рекламной паузой, пелотон совсем-совсем небольшой. Там буквально, может быть, человек 35, ну не более 40 уж точно. И в самое ближайшее время он станет еще меньше. Ломбардия, конечно, гонка однодневка, чрезвычайно холмистая, горная, вверх-вниз. То есть вот эти спуски, их тоже нельзя недооценивать. Тут еще большой вопрос, что сложнее. Кому что, безусловно, но на спусках не отдохнешь. Вы посмотрите, это не какие-то затяжные сумасшедшие прямые, хотя вот сейчас как раз-таки такой общий план, который не совсем подтверждает мои слова. Тем не менее, с технической точки зрения чрезвычайно сложно. Здесь можно проиграть все то, что только что отыграл в градиент положительный. Ну и наоборот. На Ломбардии основная крутая часть начинается с Мадонны дель Гизало за 64 километра до финиша. Чуть раньше это уже было, мы включили, соответственно, уже к следующим крутым подъемам. Ну и в сумме, кстати говоря, замечательная гонка, красивейшая. 4000 метров в сумме подъемов, спусков. Это, конечно, чрезвычайно высокий показатель, который высокий чрезвычайно и для какого-то королевского этапа Гран-тура. Что уж тут говорить об однодневочке. Ну и смотрите, вот мы 10 километров уж как в прямом эфире, а все время вверх-вниз, никакой пологой работы. Ее практически и не будет далее. Практически не будет. Мадонна дель Гизалло, как я уже говорил, прошли. Ну вот, включились мы с вами на Кольма де Сормано. Сейчас будет очень-очень серьезный спуск. А потом уже посмотрим самое-самое важное. Ну и последний подъем Сан-Фермо де Баталья. Именно там, по идее, должно стать понятно. Во всяком случае, если никто выиграет, то кто разыграет между собой победу. Потому что там буквально перед спуском 6 километров действительно нужно быть начеку. Ой-ой-ой-ой, ну накаркал я что ли, господи. Вот перелетел через бордюр Лоран де Пульс и Де Плюс и... Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой. Представитель команды Quick Step Floors. И хотелось бы в самое ближайшее время увидеть кадр с бельгийцем, который там как-то выкарабкивается, и убедиться в том, что он жив-здоров. Но мы, в общем-то, как увидели этот спуск, да что тут его увидеть, в общем-то, с маршрутом Ломбардии, я думаю, что все мы успели за долгие годы этой блестящей итальянской однодневки разобраться, и вот эти спуски мы знаем. Ой. Так, а что там внизу? Что там внизу, мне интересно. Ну, понятно, что... Вот, ну, вот да, вот если бы он где-то здесь упасть, это вопрос, не знаю, там, 5 метров свободного падения, а то и меньше, и приземления на лужайку. Вот исходя из того, какое высокое дерево там рядышком росло, тоже вопрос еще, ну, тут можно и за веток зацепиться, да бог его знает, что там. И поэтому не хотелось бы гадать. Выглядит страшно. Хотелось бы поскорее посмотреть, что с бельгийцем. И надеемся, что с ним все в порядке. Но это вот к вопросу о том, вот иди, спустись здесь. Поэтому здесь техническая составляющая, безусловно, очень важна. Но зачастую нужно просто быть не просто смелым, а все-таки, если позволите, адекватно смелым и как-то сопоставлять тоже свои умения. Ну, я не знаю, при всем уважении к квикстеповцу, но никогда не отмечали мы его какие-то умения спускаться. Ну, понятно, что ему, может быть, все еще, как гонщику не самому звездному, предстоит показывать, доказывать. И он тут рвал металл и хотел до Ширеля добраться. Тем более, что заключительный километр подъема Кольма де Сормано. Ди Сормано он прошел на самом деле лучше француза. Да и на спуске вроде потихонечку подбирался. И хотел продолжить бороться. Понятно, что с пелотоном-то не совладать. Основная группа, кстати говоря, достаточно спокойно идет. 54 секунды их отставания. Я думаю, что они тоже понимают, что впереди и равнинная часть есть в преддверии Чевильо, где можно спокойно поработать и добрать без всяких рисков для здоровья. И там уже разобраться и позднее на Сан-Фермо-дель-Баталь. И, в общем-то, все вот это отставание, оно очень быстро нивелируется. Здесь один Ширель не так далеко не уедет, это уж точно. Ну все, в общем-то, на самом деле самая крутая часть у нас позади. Все, мы уже в деревушку спустились, и сейчас будет чуть поспокойней. Не сильно, но спокойней. И по-прежнему ждем какого-то видео подтверждения того, что с бельгийцем все более-менее в порядке. Обратите внимание, средняя скорость под 40 км в час. Все-таки под 40, потому что по моим подсчетам, исходя из опережения графика, предполагал я, что аж за 40, но все равно очень и очень быстро. И мне кажется, что по итогам гонки она все-таки уже за 40 будет, потому что ближе к финишу, сами знаете, как бывают, разгоняется очень и очень мощно. Вот, грамотно здесь спускается Ширель. Ну а как тут еще спуститься? Здесь поворот. И где же бельгийский гонщик команды Quick Step Floors? Так, я так понимаю, что видели, носилки поднесли, причем непосредственно к бордюру, то есть или уже откуда-то снизу вытащили бельгийского велогонщика, или он сам сумел подняться, так или иначе, дальше, конечно же, после такого падения. В какой бы прочной рубашке ты ни родился, все равно нужно чрезвычайно аккуратно. И так на месте сиюсекундно, конечно, полностью не понять, есть ли там переломы, нет переломов, растяжение, не растяжение. Но, конечно, здесь лучше без каких-либо движений действительно необходимо зафиксировать и на скорой помощи увезти для последующего обследования. Лоренс де Плюс. Будем надеяться, что с Лоренсом все хорошо. Но вот показали нам общий план с вертолета. Все равно до конца, конечно, непонятно, куда именно свалился бельгийский гонщик. В принципе, там чуть-чуть левее, чуть правее. И, вы знаете, уже чрезвычайно большая разница. В принципе, там хотя бы местность не скалистая. И вот на самом деле посмотрите, что здесь за бордюром. Тут уже совсем отвесная стена. Там все-таки с серьезным также градиентом, но все-таки какая-то определенная лужайка, травка. И это то, что имеет действительно сейчас значение. Лоренс совсем еще юный гонщик, 95-го года рождения. Тем не менее, мы его уже хорошо знаем, потому что выступает за команду Quick Step он второй сезон. Первый полноценный. В прошлом году подписал контракт вначале как стажер. И сезон, на самом деле, в той или иной степени прорывной у него. В частности, мы помним, как на Giro очень здорово выступал бельгиец. И в генеральной классификации, вы знаете, 24 место для столь юного гонщика. И Мы знаем, что в юном возрасте, в принципе, дебют на Гран-туре – это уже само по себе событие, а дальше как пойдет. И даже внутри команд многие спортивные директора не советуют юным гонщикам, еще не так хорошо знающим свои возможности, залезать в резервы организма. А вот тут сразу место в тридцатке сильнейших. И действительно есть у него определенные перспективы как многодневщика. Это точно. Он и в горах здорово терпит, и очень хорошо ходит разделку. В частности, вот только-только в Бергене. Понятно, что там мы практически за ним не следили. Следили мы за Томом Дюмоленом, за Примашем Рогличем, за очередным феноменальным везением в нужный момент со стороны Криса Фрума. Но Д+ стал лучшим среди бельгийцев. А вот другой бельгиец, великолепный Филипп Жилбер, партнер по команде, 165-й номер у Филиппа Жилбера. И Жилбер тоже один из фаворитов сегодня, безусловно. Филипп Жилбер дважды уже выигрывал Ломбардию и, безусловно, приехал сюда, чтобы выиграть в 3-й раз. Предыдущие разы были давным-давно, относительно. В 2009 году, в 2010 прервусь я сейчас. Все-таки пытаюсь разобраться, что там с D+. Ну, хотя как можно это все понять? Итак, смотрим повтор. Вроде бы здесь все нормально, и корпус кладет. Что же вот тут случилось? Слишком все-таки высокая была скорость, да, и, видимо, не рассчитал он, что настолько крутой поворот, и как-то, вы знаете, мягенько так, без резких телодвижений в последний момент. Оно может быть и правильно по учебнику, но, с другой стороны, он просто спокойно въехал в этот бордюр. Ну и, конечно, выглядит это все чрезвычайно страшно. Пожелаем здоровья Лоуренсу, пожелаем, чтобы все было у него хорошо, чтобы следующий сезон обязательно стартовал с ним. У него подписан уже контракт на будущий сезон, также с командой Quick-Step Floors. Это неудивительно, потому что, повторюсь, он провел очень-очень добротный сезон. Ему всего-навсего 22 года, и будем надеяться, что впереди ждет его яркая карьера. Тем временем отъехала от пелотона очень и очень интересная группа. Филипп Жилбер. Вот он, представитель команды Quick-Step. И вместе с ним представитель американской швейцарской команды BMC Алессандро Де Марки, итальянец. Жилбер и Де Марк. Это хорошая связка. Эта связка очень интересная. Так вот, Филипп Жилбер, конечно же, гонщик звездный. Один из лучших, в принципе, гонщиков нового миллениума в мире велоспорта. И он, безусловно, войдет в историю как человек, сделавший хет-трик на Арденнах, как человек, побеждавший абсолютно везде, где только можно, если брать его специализацию. И те сезоны 2009 года, 2010 абсолютно сумасшедшие. Но потом, как мы все прекрасно знаем, у Жилбера случился определенный кризис. Не знаю, почему в команде BMC он не показывал результаты, которые показывал в команде Омега Фарма Лотто в 2010-2011 годах. Может быть, уже не работал с тем стафом, которым привык работать в Омега Фарме Лотто, с теми докторами, там разные разговоры. Может быть, просто немного успокоился, подписав сумасшедший, наилучший на тот момент, насколько я помню, 3-летний контракт в команде BMC. Ну и что интересно, что именно в последний сезон, после ужасных абсолютно выступлений в американском коллективе, Жилбер выдал сезон, в котором более-менее напомнил себя прежнего, хотя бы за счет победы на Oslo Gold Race, и подписал еще контракт, и еще 2 года в команде BMC выступал. И в прошлом году делал это абсолютно ужасно, и на этом, в общем-то, стало понятно, что все. Ну и логично уже для ветерана относительного, хотя нет, вполне себе уже заслуженного мастера, уважаемого Филиппа Жилбера, которому исполнилось в июле месяце 35 лет, вернуться в бельгийский коллектив не в Омега Фарма Лотто, нет, с тех пор многое изменилось, в Quick-Step Floors, и такая возможность поработать с Лефевром, я думаю, что в этой ситуации нравилось обоим, и Жилберу, и вышеупомянутому Лефевру, и в итоге Лефевр вдохнул в Жилбера какую-то молодость, прыть юношескую, и добавлено ведь к этому было и уже опыт чрезвычайный бельгийского гонщика. И, конечно, фантастические стратегические умения, которые тоже вот вложил в бельгийца Лефевр. И в итоге весной всех нас Жилбер порадовал вторым местом на Дворсдорф-Ландерен, вторым местом на Е3 Харельбеке. Он выиграл следом на туре Фландрии, хотя, казалось бы, брусчатка — это уже совсем не то, где хоть на что-то претендует Жилбер. Он туда и вовсе не приезжал последние годы. А Жилбер взял и выиграл на Ронде ван Вландерен, а потом еще и выиграл на Амстел Голд Рейс. И вы знаете, мне кажется, что мог он побеждать еще и еще. Берем и Флэш Волонь, берем и Льеж, Бастон Льеж, но, к сожалению, захворал Филипп Жилбер, и на этом блестящую абсолютно весеннюю кампанию пришлось завершить. Затем такая небольшая спячка традиционная для панчеров, выступление на Тур де Франс ничем не запоминающееся. И к концу сезона Филипп набирает форму, но в принципе, как показал Бинг Банг Тур, как показал чемпионат мира Милан Торино, ну, Филипп Жилбер все-таки не тот, не весенний. Хотя, быть может, и несколько путает нас Филипп Жилбер и делает акцент непосредственно на Ломбардии. То, что он пошел в атаку сейчас за 35 километров до финиша, не должно вводить нас в ступор. По идее, фавориты все-таки вступают в борьбу несколько позже. И сейчас, мне кажется, ни Нибали, ни Уран, они даже не думали идти за Жилбером. И хотя бы сам факт того, что Жилбером пошел Де Марки, при всем уважении к Алессандро, говорит о том, что не лучшее время. Тем не менее, мы знаем Филиппа Жилбера, мы прекрасно помним, как Филипп Жилбер занимал вторые места. Первые места этой весной он атаковал именно за 50 километров, за 55, за 60. То есть сейчас для него еще практически финишный спорт выдавай, и вот она победа. Но это на самом деле связано с тем, что...
The race now, Shirel did go quite long on the footslopes of the Ghisallo, and I'm not too sure if he's going full gas at the moment. He's given probably 90%. He probably knows that two riders are coming across, but interestingly enough, that the fact that Franche de Dieu, the French team, who are sitting 50 seconds behind the front of the race, have taken control of this race when Visconti was the only rider left, I think, for Nibali. And over the top of the last climb there, I noticed that Uran, one of the other favourites, only had one rider with them as well. So that's what it's all about. You get numbers, then you can chase. But if you don't have numbers, then you have to play a little bit of a lottery.
It is a little bit like that. Two Lotto teams here, of course. Lotto Jumbo with Kruijswijk, possibly a top 10 for him. Primož Roglic, who looked very, very handy earlier on, still within that group, but we'll see how he survives the last couple of climbs. The reason we were excited about Roglic is he went so well in the Worlds at the individual time trial with that horrible kicker at the end, which Tom Dumoulin took. Dumoulin himself not here, not well, Brian.
No, he was sick after Milano-Torino, so on Friday decided he was pulled out, and Laurens ten Dam took his place. So, yeah, a difficult time. I would have loved to have seen him in this race because I think he would have ridden well.
Ten Dam himself, by the way, clearly wasn't up for it. Late call. Quite often it can be unexpected. He probably hit too many donuts. He went off the out of the race very, very early. Looked like he went pop on the second climb only of the day. This is Pello Bilbao looking at right now, grinding into this, and as you can see, not that far ahead of him is of course Philippe Gilbert. 41 seconds only, blanketing a group which includes many of the main favourites: Rigoberto Urán, Vincenzo Nibali, Thibaut Pinot, and what about someone like Tim Wellens from Lotto Soudal? He runner-up in the Bink Bank to Tom Dumoulin. Tough race it was this year, the Bink Bank formerly the Eneco Tour. Also here for Lotto Soudal, and also in a good place.
Yeah, I think Wellens has got a chance today, but I think on the leg side here, this is where he has to try and stamp a little bit of authority on it. I'm not too sure he's maybe get the form to go with the likes of Nibali, maybe Pinot in the last kind of couple of climbs. So this is a good group that's starting to get organised now. Bilbao is there, and Bilbao will be thinking of Aru, the Italian champion, is slowly but surely coming to form. So now we have Cherel in front, 15 seconds behind with Felix Gilbert, Demarchi of BMC in the red and the black, and just joining them from Astana as the Spanish rider Bilbao. So the teams are starting to play the cards. France de Jeu, and still the team of well, I say the team of Nibali. I think he's only got Visconti with him, so that's the riders towards the front in the red. But it's all about France de Jeu and making a bold statement here by coming to the front and controlling things.
Well, there's three of them here, as you can see, and they are doing exactly that. They're controlling the pace today. They believe that their men, both Godot and Pinot, you see Godot in the middle here with Pinot close at hand. I think they've got the firepower to deliver, but then again, so I'm afraid for them have Cannondale and indeed Bahrain Marina. The team that aren't doing of the favourites much of the work, hiding well.
Возвращаемся на Ломбардию. Шерель, Демарки, Бильбао, Жилбер. Вот такая у нас сейчас четверка лидеров. Добрали Шереля, но я думаю, что сам Шерель не сильно этому сопротивлялся, потому что всем нам, ну и французы, я думаю, что в первую очередь понятно. Одному уже здесь не уехать. Тем более, что в ногах все-таки 200 километров. Ну, не 200, все-таки пока еще 175, но впереди будут все 200, потому что 201 километр.
Just having a brief chat with the car. He's being offered up something, and when you're offered something and you don't take it, it usually means it's, I don't know, a comfort. I would say, if I had to guess, he's not well, which doesn't bode well for Rafa Majka, I'm afraid, and Bora Hansgrohe. We have four up front. In fact, Michael Cherel decided that he wasn't going to try and do this all on his own, so the peloton is now the second group and only 23 seconds behind because of the driving force that is Francis de Jeu at the moment. This is a handy group, to say the very least, but then again, so is our break. Philippe Gilbert, Alessandro Demarchi of BMC and Pello Bilbao. Michael Cherel accepted their offer of some help, so here you go. Teed up for greatness. Let's see, shall we? Team Sunweb have managed to assemble themselves a trio as well. There's Vincenzo Nibali, looking like he's chugging just a little bit. Then again, he looked like that the other day when he went on to do great things. And in fact, the last time we were here, he won in 2015 when the course mirrored as it does today. So we finish in Como. We're just coming down to Lakeside. News on De Plus, still a little bit sketchy. There are a quartet of medics dealing with him at the moment. There are reports that he managed not to fall the full 10 metres down that slope in one go, and so I'm hoping from those reports, if we're getting that through, that it's not as bad as we first feared. Let's just hope that that is the case. I didn't see who it was that actually stopped, but apparently it's reported that Dries de Venjens it was that stopped. He was the man on foot, sort of concerned about his teammate De Plus, as we are as well. So yeah, we'll keep you informed when we find out more, but those are the sketchy reports that we get at the moment. 24.5 kilometres. It's the business end of the day, Brian. We've got two significant climbs, not in terms of altitude gain, but where they are placed within the finale. And when that ticker says 17 Ks to go, all hell's going to break loose. In fact, before then, in about 3 Ks, we start climbing. Yeah, 21 Ks to go is the bottom of the penultimate climb. Godot and Mollard are riding in front of Pinot. 30 seconds is maybe not going to be enough for these four riders of Cherel, Gilbert, Demarchi and Bilbao to stay away, but France de Jeu are doing a very good job for not only Pinot but for every other favourite in the field behind. Gilbert is in front. Dan Martin is in this group of about 30 odd, almost 40 riders still left in this race. Tim Wellens still involved towards the front. So the tactics are being played by some of the teams. AG2R, BMC, Quick Step Floors and Astana. So they're pushing as hard as they can, and they've every right to do so because they want to keep the pressure on the group behind, because they know that each one of these riders has got a strong teammate behind in the group of 40. It's amazing, isn't it? These boys have they pushed on here. It's a proper fighting force. It was down to around 23 seconds, bounced out to 28. There's a rise and fall to the roads here, even though this is counted as flatland. As you can see, they are the old pack horse routes that between the borders of Switzerland and Italy and the various cantons of both nations, which used to exist a couple of hundred years ago before Mr. Garibaldi formed Italy, and Switzerland got itself as a collection of cantons, as we have mentioned, as a separate nation in its own right. So you're looking at the front of the race. We're coming down to one of the legs of the Great Lake here, Lake Como. Honeymooned here myself, and it is just beautiful. And on days like this, it kind of just almost makes you take a gulp. It's so bewitching. It's absolutely beautiful. I can recommend it to anybody. If I had to say, go to Varenna, take a walk down on the lakeside. There's a little cafe down there, and indeed they've got 2 apartments. It's very reasonable, and you get some spectacular views. I'll let you dwell on them as we concentrate on the racing. Interesting to see Orica Scott here. Adam Yates is in fabulous form. Jack Haig as well will feel very much up for this. The Aussies have the longest of all seasons, starting off with the Tour Down Under. It seems that they're undiminished, or in fact any of those from the Antipodes down below. But Jack Haig is a bet today, and Adam Yates very much. Oh, official statement coming in. Laurens de Plus statement just arriving now. He has no serious injuries, and he's on his way to hospital for precautionary checks. That, Brian, is a relief to everyone. That looked as though it could have been, well, it could have been extremely dramatic, but good to know that Laurens de Plus has suffered no serious injuries despite the drama of the accident.
Yeah, 3 minutes ago, the Quick-Step cycling team just announced on their social media, on Twitter. We just talked with Laurens de Plus, who fortunately has no serious injuries after that earlier crash and is on his way to hospital.
So, bad news, he's out of the race, but good news, it's no serious injuries. So we're just hoping cuts and bruises and he will be all right. There was a report that 4 doctors had stopped to attend him. I think that's possibly just because they happened to be in the locale, quite clearly. Nonetheless, 33 seconds then, we can get back and focus on the racing, and the main focus at the moment is Francis Tijoux.
Yeah, they're doing a very good job, but they're doing a very good job for everybody else. A lot of favourites still in this race, but you know, you have to just concentrate on what you're doing, and you know, we can see the road rearing up in front of the riders. It kind of drags up. Here, there's still 4 riders with a 34-second advantage. I'm not too sure it'll be enough, but Francis Tijoux not only dragging Pinot to the bottom of this climb, but also aiding everybody else in this group behind.
20 to go, 34 seconds these guys have got. It's possible that our winner may well come from this group. They're hoving in here on Alessandro De Marchi, but giving you the data on Philippe Gilbert. Of course, he used to ride for BMC, so maybe that explains the confusion, Brian. What can you gain from data such as this, apart from a little bit of entertainment, I guess?
Well, you look at his power. He's trying hard at the moment, you know, almost 450 watts, so he knows he's in a race for sure. He's at the bottom of the climb, and I'm sure that you know, anybody deep into this race have ridden almost 230 kilometres, pushing the watts out that he is at the moment. That Philippe Gilbert is trying hard.
Well, Mallard dug deep. This is clearly all for Thibaut Pinot and Francis Tijoux here today. He's been close on a podium in 2015, and this doesn't look terrific, I'm afraid, back here. Dan Martin, we were asking about fatigue and how it starts to bite you, and at moments such as this, it's clear it's biting a few. There's Jan Polans also going backwards here in the good company of Fortunio as part of the breakaway earlier on today. And then we hove into the back of this group, and we see Mr. Roglic, who gave so much earlier on. this is a punishing pace that's being set here and finally starting to show their hands. You are seeing Cannondale, and Rigoberto Urán is there just embedded halfway down this group of talent. Vincenzo Nibali will be the man he's keeping tabs on. Don't discount Nairo Quintana, who's a rarity on this race. It's been quite a few years since he showed up for this one. But having a heavily loaded top to the season where he decided to try and do the Giro and Tour double didn't work out for him on either count. I think he's going to try and rescue something for himself and the Movistar team, who've had a bad old time of things. And what with Valverde and the like getting injured out. We'll see how he goes today. Urán looked strong the other day. Can he repeat the feat and grab himself one of these great classics?
Well, he came close last year, and we'll have to kind of wait and see. Cherel now being picked up from the front of the peloton. Really Mollard setting a good strong pace here, and he'll go as far into this climb as possible. It's 4.2 kilometres in length. It averages 9.7 with 14% maximum, so it's a difficult climb, and Mollard will try and ride as hard as he can into this climb, and by the look of things, Pinot will go on the attack on this climb.
Well, Steven Kruijswijk also looking lackluster for Lotto Jumbo in the yellow and black. And here we are, 13 seconds only with Philippe Gilbert in the blue. Just ahead of Demarchi, former teammate from BMC, and Pello Bilbao just at the back. But Francis Dejeur's relentless pace is starting to eat in. And it shelled out a lot of big names who, had they been able to match the pace or at least stay with it, Brian, would have had an option, of which within that group we include Dan Martin.
Yeah, really Mollard doing a terrific job for his leader Pinot, just kind of waiting how far he can get up this climb. Demarchi pushing on hard, Gilbert on a reasonably good day, Bilbao kind of hanging in there. And just coming round the corner now, Mollard doing a terrific job. Pinot obviously wanting to stretch things out, and doing a very good job at that, putting a lot of riders in out the back of the main peloton. But I think an attack is certain from Pinot. He wants to shake a lot of riders out, and Francis Dejeur taking it on from the front.
They're up the Civiglio at the moment, and it maxes at 14% just before the top. In fact, we've had a couple of ramps that looked a little bit like that. In fact, we will be the next kicker, I think, is the most difficult. 19.3, that's if the ticker is correct, of course. We'll get to the top with 17 to go. Then it's downhill. The downhills here, Brian, they're quite tight. We take quite an altitude drop in very, very short order as we head back to Lakeside.
Yeah, it's a difficult running. Many riders will have known this from a couple of years ago when Nibali won it, but Mollard still at the front of the peloton, Pinot in second place, Viella of Cannondale also towards the front, and then we've got Nibali, Quintana doing a very good job today. Wouldn't have expected him to be here after such a kind of difficult season, but he is still in with a chance. But how far can Mollard go up this climb? And then you've got so many riders just sitting behind. Haig is in there for Orica Scott. I think Kreuziger is kind of hanging at the back. They still have got Adam Yates. Pozzovivo is here. Sam Oman, Urán just on the right hand side. So many riders just sitting and waiting and kind of anticipating when Thibaut Pinot is going to make his move.
I thought that Julien Alaphilippe the other day was starting to look a little bit fatigued. There goes Adam Yates, runner-up, of course, in Milan Torino. Not able to repeat the feat today. He went very, very deep to try and catch Rigoberto Urán, and went on to take that. Where's number one, because the team Orica Scott with Chavez won it last time by, but of course Chavez damaged a shoulder, and so I'm afraid no return for him. So hence Adam Yates with the number one. This is interesting. Quintana looks to be marking out just about everybody. This is the roll of the dice for AG Tour Le Mondial. Knowing that a lot of riders are suffering, this is a big chance.
Yeah, Mollard done his job, and it was actually Alexis Villermoz that went on the attack for AG2R. They had Cherel in front all day, and this has kind of opened things up. So it was Villermoz that went on the attack. Quintana followed, so did Viella of Cannondale on the green, and Nibali, but nobody going over the top, nobody taking the kind of bull by the horns, as they say. But unfortunately for Adam Yates, he's kind of hanging on a little bit at the back.
He is, just getting back in. That's Diego Rosa, a couple ahead of him, and they've decided that time then to mix up. And Moscon, you know, he's had a lot of criticism of late. He's been accused of all kinds of things. Can't quite see who's going after him. I imagine it's Barguil. We'll see if he manages in a few moments' time. Gianni Moscon. A great reaction, I think, to the circumstances which have been hanging over him at the moment. Lots of question marks, and this is the best way to answer it. Just get on and do your thing.
Well, the problem is so many of the strong contenders are kind of looking at each other at the moment. So this is the perfect time to go on the attack, and he's gone for it and taken one of the young riders from Sunweb with him, and Sam Oomen, who's been showing some terrific form, but Thibaut Pinot has been forced into doing something.
Yeah, has to be. Can't see any reaction at the moment, not from Quintana, certainly not from Oran, just for the time being. They're starting to spread out. Wellens looks like he's thinking about going for it. Sebastian Reichenbach hit the deck and broke his elbow, I beg your pardon, which requires surgery, and accused Gianni Moscon of bringing him down. Moscon denied all knowledge of it, and it's apparently there's going to be a court case. So that's what we were alluding to with Gianni Moscon. He's saying, I am completely innocent, and away he has gone. Oomen with Pinot, is it just trying to get onto the back of him? 18.2, surely alarm bells will ring here, because there's a descent which almost bounces into our final test, which will be peaking about 5.4 kilometres to go.
Nibali starting to go on Oran, straight on the wheel, so they passed Demarque, Viella trying to hang on as well. Here comes Nairo Quintana, but yeah, alarm bells are ringing off, because the thing is, with Thibaut Pinot going on the attack, you can remember the Trevally Varecine when it was Thibaut Pinot that kind of chased down Nibali in the end. So they've come straight up to the wheel of Moscon and Oomen, so it's all kind of kicking off. The top of this climb comes with 16.8 to go, so there's just over a kilometre to go to the top.
To my mind, if it's going to end in a sprint, this will be a great one for the likes of Rigoberto Oran. We've seen him deny Warren Barguil in that spectacular sprint push in the Tour de France. Can he possibly do it again? 17.9 kilometres to go, so 900 metres from the top thereabouts. Alaphilippe also very much involved, part of a lead-out train. In fact, just getting towards the back here, part of a lead-out train for the designated sprinters within Quick-Step floors, but Alaphilippe could go quickly when he needs to. Some big names getting caught out here. Rosa looks very second-hand at the back. That's Jack Haig starting to struggle by the wall as well, and they're bouncing. Oomen does his respective job. This is as well Wilco Kelderman back with Aru here. Doesn't look like it's going to be Aru's day. Could well be this man. Can Pinot deliver? Checks over his shoulder. Quintana looks very, very cool. And in fact, Vincenzo Nibali looks over as if to sort of goad him into action at the moment. Nibali concerned that he is lent on to do much of the work. It's a burden that the favourites have.
Yeah, this is why Francais de Dieu were riding so hard to bring the breakaway back before this climb, and they've done a very good job. Mollard was the last rider there to go into this climb, and Pinot was going to go on the attack. It's just a matter of when. Pozzovivo has come to the front for AJ Tuan. I just think that Nibali knows that Thibaut Pinot is on some really good form, but is measuring his effort. He's just sitting there towards the front. Oran is there, Bernal, Nairo Quintana. Many of the strong contenders this race still in with a shout. Still 17.5 kilometres to go, but you cannot really let this man go.
Nibali on the front with Quintana tracing him. There is Oran. This is a great selection right now, as you can see. Interesting to see Domenico Pozzovivo, who's got a bit of turn of pace about him as well when he needs it. Just sailing around the headland here. Michael Nieve with Aru in a group that looks like it's suffering. Tim Wellens also looking like he is doing likewise. Nibali goes to one side of the road, has a look at Pinot, responds by the wall. Moscon still not out of this as well, the youngster. Remember when he was allowed to sprint on a lumpy finish. Good to see Egan Bernal of Androni Zydemek up towards the front. One of the smaller teams here, but in elevated status in this race. Can Pinot get over the top? Well, he's certainly going to do that, but can he bring it home? It looks like he's intent on doing it on his own, just hiding by the wall at the moment. Fans on the wrong side of the road. Part of the road surface that would frankly welcome some of these riders. Pozzovivo is the man that's in no man's land at the moment, just trying to bridge over to this man, the Frenchman, Pinot. Well, Can he possibly? I think it's a tall order, to be honest, at this stage, but they went early by design, Brian. This was their plan.
I think this is a good shout for Thibaut Pinot. I think a lot of riders, I think every rider in our picture now is starting to really suffer in this race. This is a hard climb deep into the front. And the thing is, Thibaut Pinot, when he looks behind, he's got Pozzovivo trying to come across to him. But the problem everybody has, there's not many teammates left. And if the favourites...
Vai Thibaut! Vai! Allez! Vai Vincenzo! Vai! Quintana! Allez, allez! Vai Moscon! Allez, allez! Vai Davide! Vai! Vai team! Allez, allez!
And he's taken one. Here is Pinot. The pair of them, well, they could duke this out, but how long will they want to stay together? Nibali and Pinot, they stuck together in Milan, Torino, of course.
Allez, allez! Vai Diego!
Was Nibali leading with Pinot on his wheel, reaches over, cheeky take that, and as soon as the door opens, straight into it, inviting himself to the party, is Vincenzo Nibali, increasing the pace. If they get over the top right now, and in fact they're just on it as the descent will start, you can assume that they're going to hit the foot of the final climb together as well. This is fascinating, Brian.
Yeah, we were here on Tuesday in Tre Varesine when the two riders attacked.
Allez, allez! Dai! Allez, allez! Vai Marca! Allez, allez! Dai! Allez, allez, vai Gilbert! Grande! Vai Yates, allez! Allez, allez! Vai, vai! Allez, allez! Grande!
But not many people with their teammates at the front of this race now, and you know, two of the strongest riders are starting to edge a little bit closer to the finishing line in Como now.
We need to see the gap, but it's Nibali and Pinot at the moment through these little private garden roads, as you can see, as they're called. They grow perfume flowers here. There used to be an industry. Nonetheless, these guys smell blood, and away they go into this very technical descent right now. And in fact, as you can see, the incline was written large for you there by the RCS, the organisers, just to warn them that this is very focused. At least you'll get into a privet hedge if you get it wrong. Here we go then. Nibali, fabulous descender with Pinot. Not bad himself, but not as good as Nibali. I think they'll probably want each other's company and then duke it out later on. If it's two up sprint, who are you going for?
Well, when we look at Tre Varesine, there wasn't much between the two of them on Tuesday, and Pinot had the edge on Nibali, and I think that Nibali will know that. Okay, Geniez won that and he finished second and third, but I think Nibali will want to try and distance Pinot definitely. If he can't distance him on the descent, he'll try something on the next climb.
This is going to be absolutely fascinating. We don't unfortunately have a gap back to the chasers, and I'm assuming that's being led by Rigoberto Urán, motorcycle making a nuisance of himself, getting in the wrong side of the corner. Needs to give these guys some respect. All respect at the moment for Vincenzo Nibali. Look at the battle that's raging here between these two. 15 kilometres to go, Banner. They just sail under that. Shock into the sunshine right now. And Pino is staying with Nibali. Little slow motion shot of Pino just getting a little bit wide, but it slung-shot him. He stayed on the bike. It slung-shot him straight back onto the rear wheel of Vincenzo Nibali, who can't shake him off. And that's the idea now, Brian.
Yeah, we start climbing again with 8 kilometres to go, so 6.5 kilometres. This is the chasing group, including Pozzovivo, Bilbao and Moscon.
Big wide corner and a double check. Nibali went through very, very fast, kissed the barriers almost, and Pino gave it more respect. The bigger man, so I guess a longer line through. Let's see how he spat out the corner. You can't follow the other man's lines because of the geometry of the bikes and also different body weights. But nonetheless, they're stuck together at the moment, almost on a tow rope. It has stretched ever so slightly to the advantage of Vincenzo Nibali. Big right-hand corner, left-hand corner coming up, as was indicated on. And here is Oran. Well, we said he would be the most likely to push on, and that's exactly what he's doing. He can time trial. He can also sprint, as he's shown. He's got a Tour de France victory under his belt, stage-wise. Runner-up this year in the Grand Boucle. Can he bridge to these guys? I think he probably can. And if it's a trio between the three of them, then bet on Oran. 13.5 to go.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, Nibali was in the same situation, didn't have much of an advantage, but he was on his own. Now this year he's got Thibaut Pinot for company, and Nibali's pushing hard in his descent. He keeps on looking round to see where Pinot is. He knows that he's the better descender of both of them, and he knows that Thibaut Pinot, if it comes to a sprint finish, is probably the better of the finishers. They both look fairly equal on the climbs, and we've only got one climb to come, and it comes with in 5 kilometres time.
That was interesting. Vincenzo Nibali goes into the corner and he checks up and then goes into the corner. He knows Pino's watching him, and it was almost like a false, almost a feint, if you like. He's sort of saying, oh, this is a bit scary, and then sailed round the corner beautifully, and Pino dabbed the brakes and the gap expanded. Absolutely brilliant work. Mind games being played here in the descent by Vincenzo Nibali, loving it.
Yeah, he wants to distance and keep the pressure on Thibaut Pinot. He knows that he wants to try and come to the finish together and try and guarantee the win. He is the favourite coming into this race, and he's using all his experience and skill to try and distance Pinot. And with one climb to go, it's still an opportunity here for Thibaut Pinot to come back to him. But the gap is slightly opening now.
Yeah, it is, and it's because of the descending skills of Vincenzo Nibali. Here he is, hangs a leg. He'll do that. He'll do anything he possibly can to just counterbalance the corner and the bike, keep it all in control and deliver. But can he? This is spectacular. Bunny hopping over the sleeping policeman there. A jump to get on, a jump to get off, keeping the bike sailing and singing at the moment. And quite frankly, the gap is expanding. There is Pino, and I think he's probably going to be in the sights before you know it of Rigoberto Oran, who's on his case. Now, let's have a look. This is the bunny hop up. Nice landing, like a cat onto a table, and off again. Beautiful. Here's Oran.
Yeah, Oran is trying to send down. They've got only a few seconds on a group behind, containing about 8 or 10 riders, but Nibali just throwing caution to the wind, and he knows that he has to put Thibaut Pinot under pressure. He doesn't have a lot. He swings onto the main road again, and in 3 kilometres time they'll be starting to head up the final climb.
Well, a wobbly entry, but a powerful exit as well for Thibaut Pinot. He means business today, and Vincenzo Nibali, I think, is more than aware of that. Just look at the line that Nibali's taking. He couldn't get tighter to the to those metal fencing here as he heads for the next climb. This peaks out with 5.4 kilometres to go. 10.6 remain of today. Fascinating.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I just hope that the motorbikes don't have a say in this outcome and they stay out the way of Nibali. But you can just see here Thibaut Pinot. I think he will come back, saying 6 seconds. It'll be interesting to see what the gap is back to the group behind, including Oran.
Yeah, indeed. No time check on Oran at the moment. If a motorcycle does get close to you in the rear, by the way, there is a bow wave effect. It pushes the air in front, and at the moment it's far from Nibali being assisted. Not that it's unheard of in certain parts of the world, and indeed Nibali himself has taken some untoward assistance in the past, as I'm sure you know. 10 kilometres then from home, says 9.9. And here is Thibaut Pinot, just has a little toot, more than that. In fact, deals with the camera behind him. I think he'd probably prefer the camera to be right behind him for the aforementioned reason. 7 seconds then with 9.6 kilometres to go, and here comes Uran. It's a reasonable gap. Still haven't got a time check on it though.
No, not at all. It'll be interesting to see what the time gap is on this onto Uran, but all three front riders are on their own. Nibali just in front there, Thibaut Pinot, the Frenchman, and Uran not far behind. But I think back to Uran could be maybe about 20-25 seconds now.
But
there's another group
I
just
think it's
behind.
a little bit more than that. This 10k barrier seemed an age ago they went under it, Brian.
Yeah, I think about 25 seconds back to this group, and Iran's just about to be caught. So now it's time. Like we were saying before, there's nobody with any teammates here. So Moscon now decides to push and joins Iran in front. So there's no teammates to help each other. So if these riders who are already suffering want to try and win this race today, they have to combine together to try and bring back in Nibali.
Yeah, they do. Pinot's the best man for it at the moment, but even he is starting to be distanced. It went from 6 to 7. It's now 9 seconds the gap. Nibali's essentially time trialling up this next incline. If he can get to the top of it, he'll be there in about 3 kilometres time. Then it's a drag more than anything. It does have a little plateau within it before the last kick. The nastiest part of it, by the way, is just before the top. It's about 10%. But that's nothing for this man. He's capable of taking that, and it's gone out to Pinot to 10 seconds. My goodness, they're going for an art shot. It's almost celebratory right now. The Italian press will be going suitably nuts. This could be another fabulous performance. It was almost like the arm there, it was a super slow-mo. It was almost like he was giving a message that he's just got to keep his tempo going. 9 seconds, a tenuous lead, but one he's delivered in the past, Brian.
He certainly has, but still not over yet. We hit the bottom of the final climb now, and this climb goes up to 5.4 to go, so 2.6 kilometres in length, and as you rightly said, 10% at the top, but 9 seconds is going to be touching distance in this climb, and it's not all over for Thibaut Pinot yet.
No, it's not, but I think it may well be for Moscon and Uran, unless something spectacular happens. 46 seconds back on Nibali, of course. 37, I beg your pardon, back to Pinot. Well, it's starting to break down here, and others are starting to reach out, but it's all too late.
That's the problem you've got. You've got all individual riders in different teams, and they're not combining together. The only way they're going to try and win this race is they combine together, and they don't want to do that. So does it look as if the riders behind us, it could be all over for them, and they're fighting for third place?
11 seconds now. And this is an expanding gap, and this potentially is going to be heartbreak for Thibaut Pinot. An extra step forward from his last finish in 2015 when he finished third to the winner, Vincenzo Nibali. Is not going to feel like sufficient, I'm afraid, for the effort he's put in. He's a man who was thinking of ending his season, of course, after La Vuelta. Well, he's ridden on and has kind of got a taste for it. Likewise, I've got to say, it's been a startlingly sprightly performance from Team Sky. Moscon has been extremely busy, and others like Diego Rosa
starting to push
same.
out. He has to try and push out because he's got Moscon there, and we're just speculating about who's got any teammates to start riding. And it was Diego Rosa that's having to come to the front. That says that Diego Rosa was suffering at the back of this climb. He get back on and decided to attack straight away.
Is that Luis Leon Sanchez has also decided to dig in? Not quite sure. We'll check on that in a moment. 17 seconds then with Nibali distancing Pinot, and this is an expanding gap. And the longer this goes on, frankly, I think that Vincenzo Nibali has broken the heart of Pinot, who's out of the saddle and back into it, not looking comfortable. 18 seconds now. And in fact, on this zigzag, it's almost like a Zorro cut, isn't it? Being imposed by Vincenzo Nibali, who's going to go over the top here with more than 20 seconds of an advantage, I imagine. Holding at 19, and there it is. We kiss 20 right now. He's powering into the incline, and he's capable of delivering from 6.9 Ks out. It's a descent into town, and it'll suit him just fine, Brian.
I think the telltale sign came when Thibaut Pinot came into the first left-hand hairpin, and you look behind, and I think you're only going to do that if you're worried about you know, your position on the road, and if you're going to be able to hang on for second place. So it does look as if Thibaut Pinot is trying to hang on for second place here.
Luis Leon Sanchez in the frame with Pozzovivo. You saw Alaphilippe as well, who's still looking lively, but it's all for minor places. It might well be even more minor places than second place for Thibaut Pinot. I think he's possibly good enough to hang on for it, but 23 now to Vincenzo Nibali, who is not that far away, and Domenico Pozzovivo pushes on right now. Quintana with Luis Leon Sanchez. Quintana just shows his nose. Alaphilippe's there as well as Bernal from Androni in the red. A lot of suffering. Rosa going backwards as well right now as the pace is picked up, and Pozzovivo wants to come and join the party, and there's Oran. I'm afraid done for him, but he had his win in Milan-Torino, and clearly that took something from him.
Yeah, I think the chasing as well. You know, he went into the reds. He was caught on the before the final climb here, and you know, this is a difficult final climb. You know, you can just see this group is breaking up quite considerably. But I tell you what, Quintana's doing a very good ride today. But Alaphilippe is still in there. He's coming good. He went too early in Milano-Torino, but he's saved, and now he's with Pozzovivo and Quintana. And if he can hang on to these riders, then he could possibly be getting on the podium.
Well, they're back at 49 seconds adrift of this man, and that's more than enough advantage for him to deliver. Thibaut Pinot at 28 seconds now. I think he's going to fall into the clutches of a reinvigorated peloton. But this is showboat stuff from Nibali, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he was showboating on the Saviglio climb, just waiting. And when Thibaut Pinot went on the attack, he shot across to him, and you know, he baited him on the descent. He was pushing, and he knew he wanted to try and get rid of Thibaut Pinot, and did a very good job.
Aru's back in the house. That's nice to see. He's managed to recover. There is the Italian Tricolore, and he gets back to this group only just by the skin of his teeth, I think you might say. And in fact, more than that, pushes on by the wall here. Brave performance by by Aru, but we've seen a few of this. We've seen some of this in the past. From Fabio, and frankly, it can flutter out almost as quickly as it reveals itself. Let's see. It's been a brave effort for him to stay with it today, because he clearly looked like he was suffering earlier on, and he's proving that he's going to ride with pride the last races of this season in the national colours of Italy. On the move apparently from Astana. And so we'll see, maybe the last race that he'll represent that team. The word is that he's going to Emirates. This man is going to the top. Over the top of this one, he'll be there before you know, about 200 metres to go. Does flatten out. He's dealt with the steepest of the inclines. 37 seconds back to Pinot, who I think now believes that he is just going to be one of the also-rans. Those that are riding just behind Pinot at the moment, clearly thinking about podium positions. I think that's about the best of it, because this man is the best of the rest. The best of everybody, I should say.
Yeah, he is. And, you know, I thought Pinot, if he'd only stayed with him, but looking at this performance now, I think Nibali would have shed him on this climb. He just looked the strongest. But I tell you what, Pinot could come out of this day without even a podium place.
I think so, and Alaphilippe would like to be best placed Frenchman at the very worst. He's got a real kick on him. You can see that right now. Fabius, the sort of showman performer, sort of picking up in terms of the hearts of the fans, where the likes of Tommy Vogler left off. But he's got more in the locker than...
a winner this year, and on the same course that he won in 2015 a couple of years ago. But Alaphilippe riding strongly here. Thibaut Pinot, what might have been his team have ridden well for him, but it's still a battle now for us.
Yeah, I'm afraid, but that's all it's going to be, because Vincenzo Nibali, with 4 kilometres to go, has got such a handsome margin. And I'm not suggesting he's already celebrating, but frankly, the approach that he had, not overly technical. Although he hexagons the curve, he's taking nothing for granted, but he's at peace with himself. Gets on the blower, has a quick word, possibly just saying gap. What's the gap? And it's Alaphilippe that's nearest man to him at the moment with 3.5 to go.
Yeah, he's pushing on as hard as he can because he still believes that he stands a chance of trying to win this race. That's his motivation. You know, everything in this descent. But Nibali, as we've said before, he's been here. He knows what he has to do, and it doesn't look as if he's going to. I'm not saying run away with this win, but he's had a lot of help from François de Jeux in the leg side when François de Jeux took it on, because that was an interesting tactic from some of the other teams when the 4 riders went off the front, including Philippe Gilbert.
Philippe Gilbert powering into the descent, 37 seconds. He's not going to get that back in 2.8 Ks, I'm afraid, but runners-up spot. I'm sure he would have loved to have won it, but it adds to a great palmares this year. Great season for Alaphilippe. Out front, well, Vincenzo Nibali has done so much in his career, but he's still hungry for victories. He's had some.
E lo vediamo là in fondo, Vincenzo Nibali dietro questa moto, pronto qui in prima posizione, eccolo qui che vola verso il traguardo.
Moments, let's put it that way. In fact, got thrown off. He's been thrown off Grand Tours for hanging onto vehicles and the like, but take nothing away from him. He is just a supreme competitor. He's phenomenally popular in Italy. Wasn't always like that, Brian. He was always a bit of a dark horse, but he's been taken into the nation's hearts. And quite frankly, I don't think there's anyone more popular than Vincenzo Nibali as far as Italian cycling is concerned right now. He's in his pomp.
He certainly is, and you know, he decided not to ride Milano-Torino and concentrate in Lombardia, and that's after a very good performance in Trevari Vallecin on Tuesday. So, okay, he never won that, came away with third, but today I think he's proven that he's the strongest rider in today's race.
Yeah, and this deep into the season, I think it's the wisdom of what he did. He did the Della Emilia, raced Toscana. In the Giro dell'Emilia, and then in the Villa Varazine, I beg your pardon, finished in 3rd place. Well, right now in that VV race, he was locked with Thibaut Pinot. Right now, he's shaken Pinot, and indeed everyone else who rode on for Milan-Torino. They've carried fatigue into this race. And so the biggest of them all, of this little festival of Italian cycling that finishes off the season, 9 races packed into about 4 weeks. It's fabulous stuff. And Vincenzo Nibali is going to take the biggest of them all. That's clever stuff. He's a clever rider. And the Shark of Messina has taken a big bite out of absolutely everyone today. And he's almost taking the high fives, or indeed the low fives, from the crowd here as he comes round. Just hangs an arm there. I don't know whether that was a message to the motorcycles. And just look at the smiles from the camera bikes here. The right rider is winning as far as the organisers are concerned. And a right good performance it is from Alaphilippe.
Tira fuori la mano, come ovviamente a catturare l'attenzione dei supporters. Signore e signori, è una maglia rosso-blu con il casco d'oro.
Come in for a worthy 2nd place. This is a no-hassle cruise in for this man. And look at that, he's stirring on the crowds. 300 metres to go. He's allowing himself to bare his teeth Not like a shark, but like a Cheshire cat, I think it's fair to say. Vincenzo Nibali is going to deliver battle plan par excellence. He's on the radio thanking the team. What a great day this is for Vincenzo Nibali. He's done it.
In questo momento sentendo la prenda del pubblico, signore e signori,
Vincenzo takes it. Alaphilippe, the clock ticking down on him. Let's see how close he got. Factor in the celebrations, of course, for Vincenzo Nibali. Brave effort, a very brave push as well by Alaphilippe, who's had a great season. He's on the blower to thank everybody. Quintana just snaking on the road. As you can see, it's going to be Pozzovivo, I think, out of this group. He goes centre of the road, the little guy. Moscon also wants a piece of this by the looks of things, using a magnifying glass almost at the moment. But it's minor places, I'm afraid, for these guys. Here we are, some complaints late on. What would it be if it wasn't, if an Italian race had no complaints by the end of it? Another gap to a group of 5 riders who complete the day. The race of the falling leaves rarely disappoints. And you could say the same for Vincenzo Nibali. Fabulous rider, and indeed he deserves the kisses, the flowers, and indeed the fizzy stuff, which you'll get in a few moments' time. Great ride.
Strong ride, very strong ride by Nibali, and showed he was the strongest rider in the race today. Another bit of a controversial sprint with Moscon and Wieland was there.
Prefetto di Como e da Antonio Rossi, assessore allo sport Regione Lombardia. Fiori, ed è il momento degli applausi per Gianni Moscon. Signore e signori, al secondo posto arriva dalla Francia, difende i colori della Quick Step Floors. Gli applausi tutti per Ghisallo Alaphilippe. Ghisallo Alaphilippe viene premiato da Renato Di Rocco, presidente della Federazione Ciclistica Italiana, e da Paolo Frigerio, presidente del comitato locale. La stretta di mano, il mazzo di fiori, gli applausi per Ghisallo Alaphilippe. La 111esima edizione del Lombardia, un corridore messinese, difende i colori della Varenne Merida. Applausi, solo applausi per Vincenzo Nibali. Vincenzo Nibali viene premiato da Mario Latriscina, sindaco del comune di Como. Simbolo del primato, si aggiudica per la seconda volta il Lombardia per Varenne Merida. Applausi a Vincenzo Nibali. Ed ora, signore e signori, la vostra attenzione, in onore del vincitore verrà suonato l'inno nazionale italiano. Moscon, grazie per lo straordinario